We've got something cool going on right now. We're gonna take your old winter wear, maybe a shirt or a blanket, we're gonna turn it into adorable slippers. We're doing that with Tess Post. She's the owner of Beehive Sewing in Northampton. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well. I think for the holidays, a lot of people out there, you know, they got new shirts, so something comes in, something goes out. So people have old flannel shirts, they're looking for a use for them.
That's right. So I'm gonna confess, I'm a little bit more of a cozy socks kind of person, but house slippers are a great thing to make this holiday season, especially because it's so dang cold.
House slippers are good too for your garage, because you can go out in the garage with the house slippers. It's nice.
Great point.
Yeah.
So, no pattern. Guess what? We're gonna use things you already have at home for your pattern.
Free. And so we're easy sewing.
Easy sewing. So first thing that we're gonna do you have any flip-flops at home?
I do have flip-flops at home.
Everyone
yeah.
has a flip-flop.
They're packed away in my summer area, but yeah.
Well, maybe
We're
you
gonna
can
have
dig
to
them
unpack
out.
them for
That's
this.
right. So we're gonna take one of your flip-flops and we're gonna place it down on a piece of paper and we're gonna trace it, and that's gonna be the bottom of your slipper.
Okay.
The other thing that we're gonna do, and has anyone ever told you that your feet are as big as boats?
No.
Really?
No. Do I have big feet?
I have big feet, so I've heard that before. But
okay.
the other part of our slipper looks just like a canoe. It looks like a boat.
Okay.
That's what this looks like. And I know this looks a little bit weird, but again, you can just draw this out on a piece of paper or write on your fabric, and that's gonna get...
So this plus this is gonna equal our slippers.
It's gonna equal our slipper, and it's
Okay.
gonna look just like this.
This seems to me to be very complicated.
This is
it?
not at all complicated.
Okay.
And here's the best part.
Yes.
Do not go out and buy any fabric. You can use a flannel shirt.
Flannel shirt.
You can use flannel sheets. You can use an old sweatshirt. You can use a wool blanket. There are all kinds of things that you have at home. Fleece, anything that's nice and soft.
I'm in.
What
okay.
I don't want you to do, don't think you're gonna upcycle by using a wool sweater, because what happens when we put wool sweaters in our sewing machine, they get all wavy. It's very difficult for a regular sewing machine to sew on wool that has not been felted.
So we won't do it with wool.
Don't take an old wool sweater.
Okay.
That's my only thing.
That's the disclaimer.
So, if you want to have a nice lining, you don't have to, but you can. We're just gonna sew just like we normally would with anything, right sides together, and then flip it inside out. And what I did on this sample, this is the one we're gonna make right now, I just used red flannel.
So we still have the same canoe contraption.
Because your feet are as big as boats.
Apparently so.
And on one side, we've got our red flannel. That's going to be the inside. The other side, we've got our cute fleece.
Which is, yeah, it can be an old blanket. It seems like it could be old pajama pants.
Right. Yeah, that's perfect. In fact, there's nothing better than having your house slippers match your pajamas.
I didn't even think about how cool that could
I'm
be.
just saying. So, and for this shape, again, you know, there's no right or wrong here. Your feet are on your body. So get down on the floor, you know, put some fabric over them and just kind of trace around the shape of it so that they fit nicely. That's it. So what you'll notice is that this part looks pretty big. It's gonna cross over here.
So those parts go over each other.
They're just gonna go right over one another. And then I would recommend maybe
we put it onto the bottom.
we just pin it onto the bottom. If you don't have pins, you can also use something like clothespins. You can use something like binder clips, anything that helps you out. When you're sewing, the one thing, and we mentioned this when we were making our oven mitts, you may remember, do you remember the sewing technique when we were making our oven mitts?
Absolutely not.
Great. The sewing technique when we made our oven mitts about curves was to go slow. Just go slow. You might want to use a little bit of a smaller seam allowance, but what you'll notice is that I'm actually not going to be flipping this inside out like we do with a lot of our projects, because on our fleece, what we're gonna do after we finish sewing is use our special scissors. Do you remember our special scissors?
Are they pinking shears?
They are pinking shears. So go ahead and have a look at that sample that's up there. You'll see that instead of turning the project inside out, we've just stitched right on top of the sole of that slipper, and then we've used our pinking shears to make the edge look a little bit nicer and to prevent some of the fray. So if you don't have pinking shears at home, that's okay. You can go ahead and you can flip it inside out. The other thing that some folks do when they make slippers like this is after they've added that sole, because that shape is so easy to copy because it's just your flip-flop, you can make an insole. So you can take a nice piece of batting, or you can take a nice couple of layers of a blanket or something else and make a nice soft pad that you'll put right inside of that slipper. And that's a great way to make it a little bit more functional, a little bit softer, etc.
Tess, I think this is the easiest project you've brought on here so far, yet it looks really complex.
It looks really complex. It is not at all complex, and If you had slippers that match your pajamas.
I mean, it goes without saying. So to recap, and in case people missed it, you take an outline of your
Flip-flop.
flip-flop.
Or your foot.
Or your foot. Yeah, but you want to allow for a little extra room.
That's right.
So you have this right here, and then you're going to add this, which looks like a canoe. If you'd like, you can add another piece of fabric to make it look pretty, but you don't need to.
That's right.
And then, easy enough, you take the two big ends, you flip them over like this, you attach them to your shoe, and you tie it. And look at that. Already, it's starting to look like a slipper.
Right?
Pretty cool.
And then here we have our other matching
You
slipper.
just did that.
I just did it, and I just started pinking the edge.
Perfect. Tess, 5-minute project. Always a pleasure to have you here. And ahead on Matt's Pill, we're going to show you